Do you know stuff? Like random stuff? Like, has a friend ever said, yo, why do you know that? Trust, we've got the club for you. Quizbowl. But don't take my word for it. Listen to my friend Ching.
My name is Ching. I'm a 10th grader. You want to make some new friends? Join Quizbowl. You want to put in some team effort without breaking bones? Join Quizbowl.
This Quizbowl is super awesome. Our Google Classroom code is HHLCDJN. Lots of random letters. We practice on B days from 3:15 to about 4 p.m.-ish. That's our virtual practices, and the information will be posted in our Google Classroom. We also have super awesome hoodies that look like this design. So what is Quizbowl? Well, it's sort of like Team Jeopardy. You play on a team of 4 people. There will be questions on anything and everything: science, math, history, literature, art, music, current events, sports, television, anything. You buzz in when you think you know the answer. If you're right, you get your team 10 points and a shot at 3 bonus questions. If you're right and you're super early, you get 15 points instead of 10, and that's called power, and you still get the shot at the 3 bonus questions for collaboration. If you're wrong, you lose 5 points and you get a neg. So a toss-up is the question that you buzz in on. You buzz when you know it. In virtual practice, you're going to type buzz in the chat. In normal practices, you buzz on an awesome old school buzzer like this. So we're going to play a few questions just to give you an idea of what this is like. All right, toss-up. The first is science. This quantity can be measured with a Galilean device that relies on changes in liquid density. The surface form of this quantity is measured with a pyrometer. The first reliable tool for measuring this quantity was a sealed tube of mercury. Absolute scales for this quantity include the Rankine scale and Kelvin scale. Its standard scale is based on the freezing and boiling points of water. For 10 points, name this quantity recorded in degrees Celsius. If you buzzed and said temperature, you got that question right. If you buzzed super duper early before I mentioned mercury, then you got power. All right, toss up the second, which is pop culture, aka trash. This character stars in a 2010 game in which he must repair a world created by Yen Sid with a magic paintbrush. In Kingdom Hearts 2, this character repeatedly shakes Sora's hand after meeting him in a world based on the 1928 film Steamboat Willie. Hundreds of silhouettes of this character's head can be found scattered around a massive amusement park near Orlando, Florida. For 10 points, name this rodent mascot created by Walt Disney. If you buzzed and said Mickey Mouse or Mickey or King Mickey, you were right. If you buzzed and said that before I mentioned Steamboat Willie, you got power. Toss up the third. In the Collatz conjecture, this type of number is tripled and then has 1 added to it. Polynomials with this type of degree always have a real root and extend from negative infinity to positive infinity on the y-axis. Adding 2 of these numbers together always gives you a number without this property. All prime numbers except 2 are, for 10 points, what type of number that has a remainder of 1 when divided by 2 and is thus contrasted with even. If you buzzed and said odd, you got it right. If you said that before I mentioned the property of adding 2 numbers together not giving you that property, that's a difficult way to word it, then you got power. All right, toss up the fourth. Most of the boundary disputes over this agreement were resolved by the Adams-Onis Treaty 16 years later. Ambassadors James Monroe and Robert Livingston negotiated this agreement, which involved a $15 million payment that was to be used to invade England. After this agreement, Thomas Jefferson launched the Lewis and Clark Expedition. For 10 points, name this agreement that nearly doubled the size of the United States by buying, among other territory, New Orleans. If you buzzed and said the Louisiana Purchase or some description of the Louisiana Purchase, you got it right. If you got that before I mentioned those $15 million, then you got power. So we have 4 to 6 teams generally. The A team are the top players that have played a lot more, but there's tons of space for beginners. Last year, our A team qualified for nationals, which was awesome. Unfortunately, the event was canceled because COVID's the worst. So you should come join the team and help us qualify again and again and again. We have teams comprised of players from all the grade levels at E&S, middle school and high school. So we have some players that by the time they graduate will have played for us for 6 years, from 7th grade to 12th. Google Classroom code again is HHLCDJN. You can also email me, Miss Hogan, at smhogan@philasd.org. Again, practice is on B days. Come check it out. Quizbowl's a lot of fun. It's a chance to nerd out. If you know stuff and you like knowing stuff and your knowledge is obscure but you're cool with that, lean into it and join Quizbowl. Still not convinced? Really? Are you sure? We are completely awesome. Here, let Jonah convince you. By the way, Jonah is clearly not exaggerating at all. Okay, maybe just a little.
Here in my room, just bought this new Commodore 64. But you know what I'm a lot more proud of than this Commodore 64? All these bookshelves that I made other people build for me to hold all my books. Because you know what's more important than materialistic things? Knowledge. All right? Wasn't that long ago that I was a dumb freshman. I wasn't doing anything good with my life. Then I joined Quizbowl. I'm a multimillionaire. All right? Okay? My name's Jonah Badstubner. I'm a sophomore. I joined Carver back in 7th grade. Gotta say, joining Quizbowl was the best decision of my life. All right? If you want to join Quizbowl and be awesome and cool like me and all the other Quizbowlers, it's really not that hard. The Google Classroom code is right here. Join it. Do it. Join. You want to know why? Because you can answer fun trivia questions. Anything you know, all the knowledge that you've collected in your little nerd life is going to come into play in a Quizbowl game. Trust me, I'm a dum-dum. But do I look like a dum-dum? I ain't a dum-dum. See, trust me. Give Quizbowl a chance. I think you'll really like it. I think you'll find good friends. And I think you'll look really smart. I'll see you there.